Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of CONVOCO, a very warm welcome to all of you. Exactly 216 years ago to this day, Napoleon Bonaparte took over the ruling power in France. On the 9th of November 1799, he was appointed by the two chambers of the parliaments of Paris. The next day, however, it seemed as if his coup had failed. "Down with the dictator" could be heard everywhere in the assembly as an answer to his request to dismiss the ruling government. Napoleon didn't react with a display of power. Instead, he nearly fainted. It was the General Joachim Murat who came to his rescue. Murat's soldiers forced the assembly to give its consent to Napoleon's seize of power. Murat helped Napoleon to strengthen his rule for 15 years, until Murat was put on trial for treason and executed in Italy. This year, CONVOCO is dealing with the subject, power and its paradoxes, who is really in charge in a globalized world. History shows that power structures are not always as clear-cut as we might expect them to be. We often find gray areas and antechambers of powers that diffuse who's really in charge, and without whom decisions cannot be made. Power and powerlessness are two sides of one coin. They are linked together. In shaping the options for decision-making, the advisors of the powerful hold substantial power, in the sense that decision-makers become affected by others' views of the world. The question is how powerful the person in power really is. Tonight, Professor Brandon Sims looks at the paradox of German power and powerlessness in Europe over the past 500 years. As it happens, the 9th of November is also very important in recent German history. In 1918, the German monarchy ended on the 9th of November. Kaiser Wilhelm II abdicated and the Weimar Republic was proclaimed. 2 days later, the armistice was signed. On the 9th of November 1938, the Night of Broken Glass happened. And in 1989, the Berlin Wall fell on the 9th of November, leading to the German reunification. Today, Germany is often regarded as the economic hegemon of Europe. By some, it is regarded as the powerhouse that wants to shape and to control European policies to fit its own agenda. But is this real the German intention? And does Germany even have the power to do so? And if it does, how should it take charge of this power? The fundamental and universal questions are, how do we do an impact? And what does it mean to be effective today? We are confronted with a Europe of independent states of different identities and cultures. This diversity is a challenge, but at the same time, it is also the strength of Europe. And deliberating the European future, we should be aware of the individual interest of each state. However, we need to acknowledge that Europe as a unity stands for human rights, the rule of law, the separation of powers, the sovereignty of the people, and democracy. These outstanding normative values, stemming from the two revolutions of the late 18th century, The American 1776 and the French 1789 tie the European societies together. But Europe should not rest on its laurels. Holding on to and developing these values is still today a work in progress for every democracy and the European project as a whole. In this context, we should always consider the question, what is the ultimate justification of a society? Within a state, the law, just as religion and the philosophy of morality, is the ultimate foundation of a society. The law offers orientation as well as the last secure point of reference for the individual. If a united Europe is to work, such a reference point is now needed within Europe.